There's the after. And there's your before. All right, what's going on? Happy Tuesday, January 2nd. First day back at it, 2024. We had a really good live stream on the weekend. Thanks for everybody that made it out for that. I'll put the link for the live stream up here or there or wherever it is, somewhere around there. Great way to start off the year here. We're gonna clean a pump. We're gonna do it with some concrete remover. I've had lots of requests in the past about doing a video about using back set type concrete removers. So as you can see, this pump here, it's got to be a story to this. Looks like somebody was in a bit of a hurry to get started on their Christmas vacation. They left all kinds of splatter from the washout, kinds of crap on the back step there. So we're going to clean this thing up. As you can see, it's currently set up in high-rise pumping mode, hence the lack of a transition elbow and everything else. We've just been pumping right off the back end of this thing for the last few months. So, but yeah, what we're going to use here, what we're going to use. This is the product we've been using. And there's a lot of similar products like it. The only thing that I'd recommend is some of them market themselves as being much more aggressive, to the point of using names like Sandblast and things like that. To my knowledge, they're just a more concentrated formula. But when you get into the really aggressive ones, what they don't have that these do, these I believe have an oil additive to them, so they don't corrode the metal or leave a rusty residue like the really aggressive ones do. So I think there's like 4 levels of this stuff, speaking in general, and this would be about a level 2. Once you get to level 3 and level 4 is where you got to worry about it leaving a rusty residue. So when you're done using it, you've really got to be diligent in washing it off with soap and water or whatnot, or else it'll leave a film or a surface kind of like that afterwards. So this one here, this level 2, is really what works best for us, and we've used this for years. So what we're gonna do here, just a cheap little handheld spray bottle. These more expensive ones, even with the Viton seals, what I find is using this chemical over not too long of a time period, it'll break them down and ruin them, regardless of if it's an expensive bottle or a cheap bottle. The only way to avoid that is every time you finish using it, drain the concrete remover chemical out, fill it with water, purge some water through, and that'll prolong the life. But if it's something you're going to keep on the pump, just use these cheap bottles, and the dollar store ones work great, and just plan on that you're going to have to replace it probably once a month. So we're just going to do a light film here, and this is best applied when it's dry, when the surface is dry to begin with. So we're going to spray this stuff on. Get everything here. Nice uniform coat. And what you're going to find with this stuff is older, thicker concrete, thicker-ish like that, it's not just going to melt it away. You're still going to have to work it with a scraper and or a stiff bristle brush. The stiff bristle brush is going to work great for stuff like this, just that general splatter. Things like this, you're probably going to have to get the scraper at it. The higher strength, more cementitious the concrete, the more elbow grease you're going to have to use, right? So this isn't kind of a be-all, end-all, let your pump get absolutely horrified and spray this stuff on and it magically melts away weeks after the fact. That's not how it works. So we're going to put on one initial coat here. I'm going to let this saturate for probably 10, 15, 20 minutes. Then I'm going to come back. Oh yeah, this will be a great before and after here. But then I'm going to come back and I'm going to do a second coat. And the thicker this stuff is, and the more cementitious the concrete, the more coats you're going to have to do. But usually 2 is pretty good for anything that's not too ugly. So I'll spray this on. I'm going to come back in about 15, 20, like I said. I'll put another coat on, let it sit for 5 minutes, and then I'll start working it with the scraper and the brush. The worst thing you can do is just do 1 coat, let it sit for too long, come back with a pressure washer and think it's going to peel off. It has to be relatively fresh and soft and liquid, because once it's dried and it's turned all chalky, you're going to have a heck of a time getting that off with the pressure washer, and it kind of is counterintuitive to what we're trying to do here. So like I said, I'm going to take my time here And you're gonna get everything. The insides of these outrigger legs. Like I said, this thing's really, unfortunately, I'm gonna say this is 90% from a washout, dumped into a washout pan, splashed everywhere. Somebody was in a hurry, and instead of just giving it a quick rinse the day of, well, here we are now, a couple weeks later, and we've got to use, and this stuff ain't cheap. This is probably $10 worth of chemical just to fill this bottle here, or pretty close to it. I will say there is savings to be had by buying this stuff in bulk by the 45-gallon drum, but still it is an expensive product. And the best answer is just to clean your stuff off the day of and not let it get to this point. But as we all know, it doesn't always work out like that. Like, look at that cream there. That's probably from like a 8,000 PSI high-rise mix. You like that? For the new year, I'm speaking in American terms. PSI, no more MPA for 2024, right? At least not for the first video anyhow. So soak this stuff down. It's not like using acid where it's going to corrode all your wiring and turn it into a rusty mess over time. That being said, I would still keep this stuff away from any open electrical components whenever possible. So soak this down, let it do its thing. I'll come back, do another coat, we'll check in on it, and we'll make this thing beautiful here. Probably spend about 45 minutes doing so. But what a way to start off the new year, right? Cleaning up after somebody else's mess. Probably the story of a lot of pumpers' lives, I think, in the industry. So we can do better for the new year. See things like this RFID safety switch, where I'm not going to go blasting concrete remover right in these areas here. I'll keep it away from that. Just don't be negligent with it. Be diligent with it, but don't be negligent. Another tip, if you've got vinyl graphics or vinyl wrap, don't get this stuff on the vinyl wrap. What you'll end up with is a surface like this. It'll wear through that outer layer, and it gets down to the sticky stuff. That's from getting con off on here. So keep concrete remover away from vinyl wrapped areas for sure. For sure. That's a big one. So one of my most favorite tools for getting rid of really thick and heavy concrete buildup, stuff like this. And you know, I'm going to kick this step open so we can get a little better access to this. Have I mentioned how awesome of a feature that is on these newer Putzes, the swing out step? I do like that. Improve our access a little bit here. Much better. So thick stuff like this, rather than trying to get it off with a scraper and inevitably taking a bunch of paint with it, this Bodywork Hammer, if you hit it nice and flat, see how it comes off like that? When it's that thick, I guess that's the one benefit to the concrete being obscenely thick. You can remove this stuff without chipping the paint. Now be really careful when you use this, this, what do you call it, ball peen style? I don't know, pointy end of it. We'll just do this. Like so. And I didn't take that paint off just now. You can see from the rust that was previously removed. So anyhow, yeah, these are really nice for getting rid of thick concrete buildup. So handy tool to keep on the pump for sure. Also works great for chipping out clamps with the pointy end there. Stuff like this, it would be an absolute bear with a scraper. Voila! We'll finish it off with a scraper. Done. So we'll probably use about 2 bottles of this stuff for this entire process. There is some heavier, higher PSI, see I got it right, higher PSI mix that's been splattered on here, so it'll take a little bit more than usual. So you're talking like 15-20 bucks worth of chemical. Like I said, I can't emphasize enough, clean it the day of so we don't get to this stage. It'll it'll save you lots of money, and it'll save you some time too. So, but anyhow, the first coat's been on there for only about 10 minutes now, and I'll show you here with our scraper. You want to do your scraping when it's still wet. It creates this. Let's go to the other side. That was actually really bad. It'll be a better example. A little spray to freshen it up. Let me come in here with the scraper. Right, and it makes this sludge. You just really want to work that sludge around with your scraper. And we're going to do this over the entire area here. Once we've done our second mist coat, we'll go around the scraper, we'll do that. And they'll probably spray one more little dusting on it before we hit it with a pressure washer for the grand reveal. A lot of this stuff, like over here, is soft enough. We'll pre-moisten our stiff bristle brush. Super stiff bristle nylon brush here. We'll come off with the brush. Like so. Especially when using the stiff bristle brush. Wear safety glasses when you do this. This stuff is a total nightmare when you get it in your eyes, so make sure to wear some safety glasses. Like I said, the second coat is just a little dusting to freshen everything back up before we hit it with our hit it with the tools. Like I said, you could probably go straight to the pressure washer on this and 90% would come off, but when you're using this chemical for what it costs, I definitely want to spend the extra time and get the full benefit and full effect of it. We ain't here to waste money, so. All right, second coat has been applied. We'll tap stuff like this. See what I mean? This old heavy residue. You still gotta work it with a scraper. And I'm not gonna get that perfect today. I'll get it decent, but I'm more concerned with the higher profile areas. Stuff like this. All right, then we hit that with the brush here. Just reposition the camera. Like so. And then just this little tester area here. Let's fire up our pressure washer. Our electric pressure washer, one of the best things we ever bought here, actually. Super handy. Rather than dragging the old gas unit out every time. Are you ready for the reveal? Here we go. So everything you see that's still there is just scratches. You see how nice and clean that surface is? There's the after. And there's your before. Give it a little scrape on this side too. This will be the fun one, the money shot per se. Let's see how it just turns this into sludge. Scrape this down like so. And then we'll hit it with a stiff bristle brush here. A little challenging doing all this with one hand on the camera. Let's hit it with the pressure washer, see what we got. Not too shabby, right? Everything that's left on there is just scratches, not actually concrete. So for some of the areas, you get away with just water pressure, like this back step. All the concrete's off, that's just scratches. Let's do a fun one. How about in here? You see the majority of it, it'll get off, but like some of this older stuff, that's why you want to agitate. But for the most part, it gets her clean. So 80% of this I can just peel off with a pressure washer. I'll just work some of the other areas with my scraper here. We'll check in on this when we're done. We weren't gonna leave that. We're too invested in this now. There we go. Hit that with old P-dub, she'll be good. Not too shabby. As you can see, great time to do your scraping is when the product is not dried up and it's still nice and wet. They'll actually lubricate so you don't scratch the paint. Despite what you see here, somebody did do some scraping after the backset was dry, it looks like, but you get my point, right? Let's get that nice film and you just work it with your scraper. All right, now that we're done with all of our scrubbing and scraping and everything else, time for the most rewarding part, the reveal with the pressure washer. Like I said, I just spent, I don't know, 25 minutes, half an hour on this. This is not going to be perfect by any means, but it'll be a pretty good before and after, that's for sure. So let's peel this layer away and see what we got underneath. We'll keep the high pressure water away from the RFID switch. As well is this electrical junction box down here. Here's that nasty area. As you can see, it's not perfect. There's still a lot of thick stuff there, but that's a whole project in itself almost. Something that can be taken care of on site while waiting in between trucks, right? Do you guys still do that? I still do that. Clean my gear up while I'm waiting between trucks. Between pumping off trucks and updating my Instagram. What a handy feature. Putzmeister, you got it right with that one, that's for sure. Love it. All right, just like that, we are done. So this is the after. Aside from the paint scratches and whatnot, it looks phenomenally better. Much more presentable, right? Take a look at the other side here. Oh, that makes me happy. Yeah, we did pretty darn good over here too, I would say. So yeah, the magic of liquid concrete remover, which really isn't so magic when you really break it down into the basics. If you think you're going to buy this stuff and just spray it on, it's going to magically melt concrete away and there's no elbow grease required, I'll be totally honest, you're probably wasting your money. For day of stuff, yes, it is pretty good for that. If you have something happens on site, a mixer dumps concrete all over the back of the pump and for whatever reason you can't clean it on site, if you can get back the same day of and mist it with this stuff and pressure wash it off, it is great for that. But for older buildup, you'd be prepared to use a scraper, a stiff bristle brush, and a little bit of blood, sweat, and possibly some tears of joy in this case. But yeah, so we buy this stuff, we get it locally, just because they deliver right to our yard. I know that Concrete Pump Supply sells their version of this product. Alliance has a version as well. I think most of the major manufacturers, DY, Concord, KCP, all those guys, they probably sell it as well. So if you're looking for this stuff, don't go to Home Depot and buy it by the bottle, or you're going to pay a fortune for it. So, but yeah, this is the product that we use, but there are many similar products like it. Highly recommended. It is super handy to have. Just gotta kind of keep it under lock and key, because you know, I've seen guys come back to the yard with their hopper crusted up with old stuff, and they'll soak it down with about 20 bucks worth of this stuff, leave it overnight. The next day it turns it chalky. It doesn't actually clean it off. You're wasting your money. So used properly, it is a good value, but you really got to watch it. It can also be money just pouring out the windows if used incorrectly. So anyhow, I hope you enjoyed this video. I'd like to thank everybody for watching. The last couple of years, actually, the channel has really grown, which I'm super excited about. We're gonna have another live stream. We just had one this past weekend. I'll put the link up there somewhere. We're hoping to put one more together. We're actually going to put one more together, probably the week before World of Concrete. We'll talk a lot about what we're gonna do at the show there, things that are happening. Obviously, just everything else concrete pumping as well. And we're hoping to have a special guest. I have a verbal commitment from a special guest from a major manufacturer, so I'll confirm that probably with a YouTube short pretty soon here as well, but I really look forward to that. Thanks to everybody for watching, and looking forward to a great year, and appreciate all the activity in the comments, all the support. The channel really seems to be kind of bringing pumpers around the globe in the industry together, which is sort of the whole point of it. Is really why I started it. So it's really great to see, and it's kind of it's good for feel good vibes. I'm gonna get all sentimental now, right? Get all emotional on you, but no, it's been great. So thanks again to everybody, and we'll catch you on the next one. Over and out. If you've noticed a theme with my videos, when I say I'm done, I'm never actually done. There's always a little bit of an encore. So here's today's encore. So we have this pump currently set to high pressure. We had the boom off of it on another project. We've since gotten the boom back on it. We would really like to have this pump usable in our fleet for regular daily work. When it's set to high pressure, that is a no bueno, because it puts out 130 bar, 1888 psi, and the boom pipe is only rated for 1233 psi. So it's kind of useless for anything but high pressure pumping. So we would really like to get the this thing switched back to low pressure, but we have a building that's going to top out here. It's at 44 stories right now. It's going to go 50. So we've been using this to push that height. We have another option. I want some opinions here. So we can go all the way to the top with this one, and it'll push 50 stories set to high pressure, no problemo. But then we're going to lose it in the fleet for regular work. We have another option here. I've shown this one in a couple videos before, but we have her, she's back off of the tunnel project that she was on, the shaft fill project. You got the old Schwinger, and this will be a great debate between Putz and Schwing guys. So you got the Schwing 4800, and this thing will easily push that 50 stories. 2008 model, super simple, rock solid, reliable like a hammer. It's just so simple, this thing is. We've been contemplating, do we finish out that tower with this unit, which allows us to switch the 39 meter high pressure Putz back to low pressure, and then we gain another pump in the fleet, another boom in the fleet, and we throw this thing on to finish out the tower. Now, we've only pumped with this thing down into a hole. We actually haven't gone vertical with it, but guys that we've spoken to say 50 stories, no problem with this rig. So what would you do? What would you do? I know what Schwing guys are going to say. I probably know what Putz guys are going to say, but what would you do? Questions, comments? We don't honestly know what we're going to do yet, but we'll definitely be doing some videos as that building gets up near the top. So you'll find out sooner or later, inevitably. But yeah, what is the right answer here, if there is one? Let me know in the comments. And that is one of my goals for 2024 with the channel, is to get it a little bit more interactive with regards to what projects we're working on, how we strategize what we do on various projects, and the decisions to lead up to the final decisions that we make in some of the setups that we do. So I think that'll be I think it'll be engaging, and it'll make it a little more fun and a little bit more interesting. So look forward to that.